Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Green Lantern action figure. This is John Stewart as Green Lantern from Justice League, the animated series, and Justice League Unlimited, part of Bruce Timm's large animated universe. This is from the first assortment of figures from McFarlane Toys. It looks like it's going to be a little bit larger than the Mattel Multiverse figures. McFarlane ones are going to be about 7 inches tall. The Mattel ones were sitting about 6.5 inches, but it still seems to be some sort of continuation of the DC Multiverse line in some way, shape, or form. Todd McFarlane has said for a long time he always wanted to make toys from one of the big three, being Marvel, DC, or Star Wars. I'm happy he got the line. He seems very passionate about it, and I really kind of prefer 7-inch over 6-inch. A little annoying that it's not going to fit in with all the Mattel figures, but I really do like Diamond Select, NECA, McFarlane, and DC Direct figures. It's going to fit in great with those guys. So let's go and check out the packaging here. DC Multiverse Green Lantern. Here he is. Looks like he's got a construct or two, a stand, and he's in there looking pretty big and bulky. This is honestly what I wish DC Direct had done with their figures so they'd fit in with the rest of the DC collectible figures that I have. Ages 12 plus. Not much going on the top here, but 22 moving parts. And McFarlane Toys, you can see the Spawn logo up there. Side here, we've got Green Lantern from Justice League, the cartoon. Other side here, simply says Green Lantern. On the bottom, got a barcode in case anyone needs it, as well as a bunch of credits. And then the back side here, you can see Green Lantern in an action pose from the animated show, and a bunch of other figures from Series 1, McFarlane Toys, Batman Animated Series Batman, Armored Batman, Harley Quinn from the comics, Animated Superman, and Armored Superman. So with no further ado, let's open this guy up. And I got this figure with a huge haul of figures from Walmart and Target today. Not all the McFarlane figures are in hand, but hopefully they will be soon. Here he is next to a recently released John Stewart figure from the Mattel Multiverse. As you can see, the McFarlane packaging is a little bit taller than the Mattel, and the figure is a little bit bigger on the inside, but there are some similarities as well. DC Multiverse in almost the same location in a very similar style, kind of making you feel like this is a continuation of Mattel's Multiverse, at least sort of. Alright, now that we got this guy out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with 2 Green Lantern constructs, as well as a display stand and a collector's card. But before we look at the accessories, let's check out this actual figure. So this will be John Stewart, Green Lantern, as he is from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, the cartoons. This is part of Bruce Timm's overall animated universe. It's a continuation of Batman the Animated Series, the new Batman Adventures, Superman the Animated Series. Then we go to Justice League Unlimited, and eventually it evolves to Batman Beyond. So let's check out the actual figure here. John Stewart, he's pretty cool looking, got green eyes, really big in the torso chest area. These figures are very stylized, as is the animation from Bruce Timm. You can see he's got his goatee, eyebrows looking a little mad. The head sculpt really is not too bad. He's a bald guy, chest area is huge. I like the Green Lantern logo. One thing I absolutely hate is these butterfly joints do not have the green part painted on the top, and it just really messes up the aesthetic of this guy. Don't get me wrong, I understand if they painted this top part it would get out of line and out of sync here and look really bad as well, but really not liking the way they chose to handle that. Going further down, you can see his ring here. I like it. It has a nice sculpting detail on it. He's got a couple ball joints in his abdomen chest area. Then his legs get really thin. He's got these black metal pins in his feet, which, man, couldn't they have made those green? It looks a little rough. He's got single jointed elbows, really thick, fat, strong arms. I'm assuming that's why they gave him single jointed, because double jointed maybe would break up the aesthetic or sculpt. He does have double jointed knees at the bottom. So now let's check out his accessories, and let's go ahead and start off with the boring stuff first. So here's his display stand. This thing is simply a perfect circle. It's got the DC logo at the bottom. It's got one peg here for the peg holding his feet, and it's a very thin display stand. I'm not much of a stand guy. This is going to go into a huge bin of stands, never to be seen again. Next, I'll check out his collector's card. So it's here, it's got a picture of John Stewart flying using his Green Lantern abilities. Green Lantern from Justice League. On the back side here, it says he's 6 foot 1 inches, and it's from Justice League 2001, the precursor to Justice League Unlimited. So next, let's check out his constructs, and these things are casted in transparent green plastic, which is quite appropriate for a Green Lantern figure. First of all, we've got his headset here. This is sort of some headphones with a mic attached on the other side. And then we've got a very large gun type item made of Green Lantern energy. Here he is wearing his first Green Lantern construct. This is a headset here. Either this guy is going to be communicating with allies, or maybe doing some gaming. Does fit across the top of his head. Mic part goes pretty close to his mouth. You can fit this part above his ear. It's actually a pain to get that on there. And here he is with his other Green Lantern construct. This is a very large gun of some sort. His hand sort of fits into the back, and you hold it. It's absolutely huge. Details fairly decent. Has some unnecessary parts up top. I had a little trouble figuring out how to get his hand in there. I figured it really had to be on his power ring hand, as that's where it comes from. You can sort of just shove his hand in there, but be careful, don't shove it in too far. I don't know if you see, but I scratched some of the paint off this guy's hand. There's a little bit of green from the construct on his fingers as well. Just trying to shove it in there all the way and have him hold it properly. Now this construct here, it has what I thought was like a little handle here below my finger. So I mean, I'm trying to like fit his hand in there and figure out what exactly you do. I thought maybe put this hand in there. Maybe he's able to hold that little handle thing, but none of that's correct. At the back, simply has a place for his hand. Push it in there, but don't push it too hard. It'll stay on there with ease if you get it just a little bit wedged in there. Be careful, you will damage the hand every time you put it in there if you shove it in all the way. And I was curious to see if the flight stand that came with the Action Comics number 1000 Superman figure worked for this Green Lantern. And it sure works as far as achieving the flight pose. Looks pretty good from that point of view. Just his damn head will not turn up any more than this, so that kind of ruins it. And now that we've taken a pretty good look at his accessories, next, let's check out the height of this figure. So from bottom to top, this guy's sitting at about 7.25 inches. He's going to be about 18.5 centimeters. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. So starting with his head here, of course it's going to be able to rotate from side to side. He's going to be able to look up, really not too much, and then down that far, which is pretty nice. Shoulders on a ball joint here, and then go out quite a bit more, 90 degrees, rotate around, all that fun stuff. Now there is another bit of articulation between the shoulder and the chest area. I believe it's called a butterfly joint. It's got a ball joint and a butterfly joint. It can allow his arms to move in and out, giving him even more range of motion here. This guy is very nicely articulated in the shoulders, although I really hate the way it looks. This black piece here, solid black, really messes up his suit. I do realize that they put green up top here. You can just rotate this thing down and rotate his arm back up so the green part would move all over the place. It's probably the best decision I can make with this kind of joint, but it really doesn't look very good. He's got a bicep cut below that. Single jointed elbows and go in just a hair, more than 90 degrees. I imagine the fact that he's very stylized, has these huge, huge arms, is why they went the single joint. So wrist here, of course, can rotate around, and it's hinged as well. Now, if you wanted to change the way it's hinged, this ball joint here can rotate at the backside here, so you can rotate it around as well. He's got two ball joints in his torso ab area here. Top one can rotate around, can go forward and back as well. Bottom one, pretty much same thing, can rotate around, go forward and back as well, giving him a very large range of motion in his abdomen area here. Legs go out less than 90 degrees. They're on some kind of ball joint side of here, and they can rotate slightly independently of that, but gives you very little extra articulation. Then go forward, really not very much, and back, even less. He does have double jointed knees, and then go absolutely all the way back here. Then his foot, of course, it can rotate around, go up about that far, and back about that far. He also has toe articulation. Now there's this ball joint between his shin area and his foot, and I really don't like the way that looks, although these animated figures, their legs are small, the ball's a little smaller, it's a little more streamlined. His foot can't really rock, but if you want to rotate this ball, and then hold it in place, rotate his foot back, then you'd be able to rock it from side to side. These joints are useful, but they're really a pain in the ass to execute. Requires a lot of work to get in those certain poses you like. And while we're on the subject of articulation, this guy is very top heavy. His torso chest area is huge. He has very thin legs. This guy is a little bit of a pain to stand, although my guy's ankles are very tight, which definitely helps. I can imagine if any of these animated figures get loose ankles, you are totally screwed as far as standing him. Next, let's check him out compared with some of their action figures, starting off by looking at him with some of their McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, then comparing him with some of their Green Lantern 6 and 7 inch figures, and then comparing him with some other action figure lines from various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise in case you want to mix the lines. Here he is next to the other two McFarlane DC Multiverse animated figures based off Bruce Timm's animation. We've got Superman from Superman the Animated Series, Green Lantern from Justice League, and then Batman from Batman the Animated Series. At least that's his paint scheme. The sculpt seems to be from the new Batman Adventures. Now it's almost like these animated figures fit together in their own set. And then all the comic figures, which is the majority of the rest of the wave. I believe 8 figures are from the comics. They kind of all fit together. And I don't have the Arrow figure yet, but I'm assuming the TV figures are going to fit themselves as well. So these guys don't quite fit in with the comic figures style-wise. They do fit in scale-wise. And I'm not picky. I'm going to blend all my figures together. But I think you could have an animated shelf as well as a comic shelf and be a little happier. They're going to mesh together a little better. And here he is with all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that I've gotten so far. There are still 6 more I'm looking to get, being the Arrow, Armored Batman, Armored Superman, Batgirl, Nightwing, and the Man Who Laughs. Here he is next to a McFarlane Bloodshot figure. This figure is from an upcoming film called Bloodshot, based off a comic character which is not DC or Marvel. This is not part of McFarlane's DC Multiverse, but he does scale up good with them and seems to use the same articulation formula. Now let's check him out compared with some of the Green Lantern figures. Here he is with a NECA John Stewart and Hal Jordan Green Lantern. This is probably my favorite Green Lantern figure out there. NECA just really hits home runs with their DC figures. Unfortunately, with McFarlane having the license, I don't think we'll see another NECA DC figure in a long time. And here he is next to a couple of DC Direct Green Lantern figures. Here he is next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Green Lantern figures. And then here's my entire Green Lantern collection. I'm not much of a Green Lantern collector. These are just a few figures I've gotten over the years. I've seen some massive Green Lantern collections out there. Now let's check him out compared with some other action figure lines from different various companies. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you here are 5 different action figure lines from McFarlane Toys. They're all 7-inch and they all scale up decently together, although their styles definitely vary. And here he is next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then next to some NECA figures. And here he is next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Here he is next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And now next to some Mafex figures. Then next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And then next is some Jazzwares figures. So overall, this is an okay figure. I would say, at least in my opinion, with complete certainty, he is the absolute worst of the entire wave. And there are 12 figures, so that says a lot when 11 figures beat you. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Batman fan, so those characters are always going to get the top of my list. But as far as all the figures go, he is the one I'm most disappointed with and was least excited for. I thought I was going to rate this guy a 5 out of 10. I think I'm going to give him a 5.5 out of 10. When handling him, I liked him a little bit more than I expected, but I did set the bar very low in my mind. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Keep your eye out for my reviews on all the other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures.